Have you ever just entered town to find a bit of a row going on? Things are getting a bit violent, and at this rate, it could even be upgraded to a kerfuffle, and might even get up to a bit of a thing. You, being the player character, you are of course an expert at conflict resolution. Your diplomacy of just utter violence and stabby, 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 stab, 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 stab everyone in sight is just clearly the solution that this conflict needs to get to a peaceful resolution. But you don't have the right tools for the job. But that brings me to today's mod of the day, which is Killing Spree, Hell of a Ways to Kill by Sandman, Danae, Cognatogen, and Diana. This mod adds over 500 new weapons for you to resolve just a wide variety of conflicts, giving you quite the arsenal to choose from. Why yes, Jeeves, I think I'll go with Battle Axe number 5 for today's conflict. Now we're going to peacefully resolve this with the violence of my giant axe. Kill everything! Once again, another conflict has been resolved with big axe diplomacy. Anyway, these 500 new weapons have been integrated into the vanilla game, and basically this is a modernization of the old Hell of a Weapons mods, which, had a few issues, with them. There were a lot of really poor quality models that were included in the original mod, and, missing textures and icons, and just a whole lot of other stuff, and this modernization goes through and gets rid of the worst offending models, replaces and fixes the textures and icons, gets rid of some of the particle effects that were a bit excessive, and otherwise balances the mod a bit so it isn't overpowering. But anyway, these weapons have been integrated either via a level loot list, so you might find them as part of loot in containers, or in shops or whatnot, or just hand-placed out in the game world, and there's a ton of new, unique artifact weapons that you can find just somewhere out in the game world, in dungeons or wilderness, or just, carried by some, rather heavily equipped NPCs. So now, when you're just, out adventuring around Morrowind, there's just a ton of new, unique stuff for you to find. And this has, also been integrated into wares, and has support for Tiny Built and Friends and Foes. So, you can just, experience this content just all over the game world, just naturally. And there is a ton of new weapons here, with dozens of new axes, staves, longbows, crossbows, long swords, claymores, daggers, and just all sorts of other weapons that you can use to, peacefully resolve any sort of conflicts. And by peacefully, I do mean, stabby, stab, 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 stab. But anyway, that's just, that's all this mod does, and, if you're looking for just a ton of new weapons to add to your game, it is definitely a mod that's worth checking out. But anyway, that's our mod of the day, so as always, I've been your host, Dark Elf Guy. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, happy modding, and I'll see you all next time.